playing the kind of football he's played with Frank Reich, with the best team as far as I'm concerned that he's had to work with since being drafted. A stout offensive line, T.Y. Hilton, the acquisition of Devin Funchess, Eric Ebron is your tight end, Marlon Mack is your running back, and an offensive line led by Quentin Nelson, who's a monster at the position and is all about the business of wearing that shoehorn and protecting his quarterback. Why Andrew Luck, with his best shot at a Super Bowl championship in his career, with Chris Ballard proving to be the exceptional GM that he has been, with Frank Reich proving to be a damn good head coach. The way he performed last year after a 1-5 start, guiding his team to the postseason. That's fresh off of winning the Super Bowl championship as a quarterback's coach and an offensive coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles the year before, by the way. With all of those assets available to Andrew Luck, he decides at age 29 to call it an NFL career. Listen to Andrew Luck, explain the reasons behind his decision.
I've been stuck in this process. I haven't been able to live the life I want to live, taking the joy out of this game. And after 2016, where I played in pain and was unable to regularly practice, I made a vow to myself that I would not go down that path again. I find myself in a similar situation, and the only way forward for me is to remove myself from football in this cycle that I've been in. The lack of progress on my ankle, and I'm in pain. I'm still in pain. I've been in this cycle, which feels like, it's been 4 years of this injury pain rehab cycle, and for me to move forward in my life the way I want to, it doesn't involve football.
There you have it. Andrew Luck walking away from the game of football at age 29. 53-33 as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. 2,000 completions out of 3,290 attempts. Completed 60% of his passes in his career, threw for 26,671 yards in his career, 171 touchdowns, 83 interceptions. That's a better than 2-to-1 touchdown to turnover ratio. A quarterback rating of 89.5, which is pretty damn good. You know, a lot of people were very critical of Andrew Luck and his decision. Let me say this. As much of a fan as I am of RG3, the person, I was never a proponent of RG3 going number one in the draft coming out of Baylor over Andrew Luck. I knew he was a stud. I went to his game against USC in his senior year at Stanford, his last year at Stanford, rather, and he went up against USC at the Coliseum. I was at that game when he dropped 55 on him. I was there. And I saw this dude in person, and I knew what a stud he was. And Andrew Luck being this dude, 6'4", 240 pounds, that's what he's listed as. First year in Indy, plays all 16 games, guides them to an 11-5 record, a wild card game. Second year, plays all 16 games, guides them to another 11-5 record and a divisional playoff game. Third year, 11-5 record, guides them to an AFC championship game. That year, he led the league throwing 40 touchdowns and just 16 interceptions. This dude had star written all over him. He had franchise written all over him and loved himself playing some football. That's what he was about. Thinks from Stanford he's got some kind of architectural degree, architectural engineering degree, whatever the case may be. But listen, and comes from a relatively affluent family background, and obviously he doesn't need the money the way some of these players from disenfranchised communities may need it. That's not Andrew Luck's deal. That's not his issue. Living a good life, just getting married in March to his longtime girlfriend that he was with for the past decade. Obviously, he's thinking about all of those things. So I'm not here to sit up here and tell you and adopt this mentality, Andrew Luck's a quitter. Andrew Luck's all of these negative connotations that you want to attach to him. I disagree with that. I think when you look at Andrew Luck, the successor to Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, for him to come to Indy, succeeding Peyton Manning, and to have played the way that he played from the day he arrived in Indy, I can't say enough about him. if there was going to be a successor to Peyton Manning, I think he was a pretty damn good one. I really, really do. And I think that when you look at Andrew Luck, I'm here to tell you something right now. You can blame him all you want. Let me be very, very clear, John, and everybody else listening out there. Andrew Luck is not to blame for this. I'm going to tell you who to blame. It's that damn Jim Irsay, the owner for the Indianapolis Colts. That's who's to blame. And I'm going to tell you why you blame him. Because he did not do his job. When you got a franchise caliber quarterback, the likes of Andrew Luck, you go all out to protect him. You don't protect Chuck Pagano. You don't protect former GM Ryan Grigson, who should never be a GM in this league again. I'm not saying he should be unemployed. I'm not saying he doesn't know football. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a check from an NFL team. But when you hear the stories that you've heard about Ryan Grigson, as it pertains to his hard-headedness, his acerbic attitude, his unwillingness to get along with certain people, whether it be the coach, scouts, other people, they want to listen. And you see what he has subjected. He spent years as the GM for the Indianapolis Colts, subjecting Andrew Luck to over 5 years. 5 years. The man was sacked 100 times. In the first 3, he was sacked 100 times. Andrew Luck was sacked 41 times as a rookie in 2012. 32 times his second year. 27 times his third year. Yes, there was improvement. But damn it, 100 times is 100 times, and that's only counting the times that he was sacked. It ain't counting the amount of times that he was hit. It's not an accident that everybody sits here right now raving about Chris Ballard. What did this man do? In Ryan Grigson's 5 years as a general manager for the Indianapolis Colts, he drafted an offensive lineman to protect Andrew Luck and buffer a running game. Before the 7th round, only 3 times. You got to be kidding me. This is your franchise, and you didn't protect them. Not nearly as well as you should have. You looked at his 6'4" frame. You looked at the 240 pounds. You looked at those tree trunks for thighs and legs, and you just assumed he would be all right. Well, he wasn't. With each drop back, with each hit, this man was withering away. And Grigson didn't do enough to protect him. That's why he's out of a job with the Indianapolis Colts. That's exactly why. And as a result of it, this is where we are. Andrew Luck came into the league in 2012. By 2015, he was missing games. I think 2016 was the lacerated kidney. 2017, he had to miss the whole season due to the shoulder. And by the way, not once but twice, there was a couple of soldier surgeries. He comes back last year. He wins Comeback Player of the Year. With Frank Reich as his coach, has his best completing percentage. Threw for the second most yards in his career with 4,593. Threw for the second most touchdowns in his career with 39. Had the greatest quarterback rating of his career at 98.7. Had the greatest QBR of his career at 71.5. But ladies and gentlemen, the most telling stat was that he was sacked 174 times in his career, which means he was hit at least 400 times. You can sit up there and you can say whatever you want about Andrew Luck, but the fact of the matter is that's a lot of punishment to take, man. That's a lot of punishment to take. Guys coming full speed at you, and you don't even have an opportunity to brace yourself. You're throwing the football. You ain't got no time to brace yourself. You got to just throw your body to the wolves and take those hits. That's what he was doing. Took a good licking. Took a good licking. It was tough for him to keep on ticking. It's tough. Some of these hits, it's a lot to take. Then now you come into training camp. I mean, since April, got a calf injury, got an ankle injury. No OTAs, training camps. Jacoby Brissett's been practicing with the first team for quite some time. He's tired of going through this. I can't blame Andrew Luck for his decision. Everybody want to sit up there and engage in hyperbole. Oh, it takes a lot of courage, blah, 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 blah. Now, listen, I ain't going to go that far, right? Look, you walked away. You want to say it takes courage to walk away? All right, that's your way of saying it, not mine. I respect the man's decision. I respect his right to make that decision. And I applaud Andrew Luck for the star that he was in the National Football League, because make no mistake about it, he was a star. And the Indianapolis Colts were a shell of themselves without him. We'll see what they do now. They were Super Bowl contenders with him. Now that we know he's done, I promise you they aren't now. No disrespect to Jacoby Brissett. I wish him nothing but the best. Got a lot of respect for him. Like what I saw him do in New England. Like some of the moments that he's had in Indy. But I got news for you. He's no Andrew Luck. So we'll have to see what he does. But I will tell you this. I feel bad for him. Because I believe him and I believe people when they talked about his love for the game of football. And it's a damn shame it's come to this point for him. It really, really is. And my heart goes out to him and his family because I know he loves this game. And I have nothing negative to say. But I got news for you, which may surprise all of y'all. I got nothing negative to say about, I have nothing negative to say about the fans in Indy either. You know, on this particular day, we talk about the fans in every negative connotation we want to. You can do all of that all you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you something right now. I don't have that issue with the fans. I do not have that issue with the fans. To me, as much as y'all want to excoriate them and talk about classlessness and what have you, I got news for you. I think it was totally appropriate. Totally appropriate. Why the fans were booing. And allow me to explain. Ladies and gentlemen, if Andrew Luck had retired in July or June or the spring, you wouldn't have got that reaction. That reaction wasn't because Andrew Luck quit and he's a quitter. That reaction was, what the hell you doing, man? We a week away from the start of the season. Now, I haven't spoken to any Indianapolis Colts fans, but I'm willing to bet my money that's why they were booing. What the hell are you doing? We're a week and a half away from the start of the 2019 NFL season. If you were going to retire, you couldn't have done it earlier? Rather than building our hopes up, knowing that we got a Super Bowl contender, and you're going to quit now? What the hell is going on here? That's what they were doing. I want to sit up there, and I had my researcher look up something because I want to make sure that I put this in its proper perspective. Because I mentioned this on my television show, First Take, which is on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific. Jim Brown retired at age 29. Ladies and gentlemen, when did he retire? It was July 13th, 1966. Barry Sanders for the Detroit Lions couldn't stand Coach Bobby Ross. Retired at age 31. When did he do that, ladies and gentlemen? July 27th, 1999. By the way, they were both running backs. Calvin Johnson, a wide receiver, age 30. 1,214 yards, 9 touchdown passes. March 8th, 2016, he retired. July, and March. There is no quarterback in NFL history that we know of, correct me if I'm wrong, John, that quit a week and a half before the start of the season when you're the QB1. It's never happened. It's never happened. And if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, I can understand why that would rub you the wrong way. I can totally understand it. I understand that Andrew Luck said it hurt. I get that. I understand it. And people want to talk about he did so much. He did so much. He did do a lot. He didn't win a Super Bowl now. He didn't win an AFC Championship game. He won games. He got you to the postseason. And I don't recall him doing that for free. He was getting paid to do it. He had a job to do, and he did his job. But he lived up to expectations. In terms of exceeding them, I believed he would have, but he hadn't yet. There was unfinished business, and it's perfectly within his right to step away from the game. I completely support him. I'm not going to insult his decision, nor am I going to insult him for the decision that he made. I'm simply making the point that if you are an Indianapolis Colts fan, in that moment, fans, what do? One of two things. They boo or they cheer. They boo or they cheer. Some people like my man Will Kane will say, oh, you know what, they could be quiet. No, that's not what fans do. Fans aren't quiet. They boo or they cheer. And this was nothing to cheer about. So what's your alternative? It's to boo. That's life. Andrew Luck does not deserve to be insulted. He does not deserve to be excoriated. He does not deserve to be raked through the coals. But in that moment, if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, your season just washed away. Everything you had hoped for involving Super Bowl aspirations and expectations and the thrill and the excitement and of the anticipation of it all evaporated in a wink of an eye. An emotional reaction is going to emanate from that in the moment. And it ain't going to involve cheers. So while people are quick to get on the Indianapolis Colts fans for this, I'm going to come to their defense. Now, if they acted that way today, I'd be all over them. If he had retired in July or sooner and they reacted that way, I'd be all over them. But in that moment, inside that stadium, understanding that you were walking away from the best team you've ever had at your disposal, 1.5 weeks, a week and a half before the damn season begins, I can't knock the fans for reacting that way. And I don't think y'all should either. 888-SAY-ESPN, that's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart. Again, 888-SAY-ESPN. That is the number to call. By the way, people, I'm here to tell you about Zelle, a quick and easy way to send and receive money right from your banking app.